India has stressed the need to address the double standards in countering terrorism and highlighted the specific challenges with which the counter-terrorism architecture is currently grappling. Presiding over the UNSC briefing, India underlined the specific challenges that counter-terrorism architecture is currently dealing with. A report. India has always described terrorism as an existential threat to global peace and security. India stressed the need to address the double standards in countering terrorism and highlighted the specific challenges with which the counter-terrorism architecture is currently grappling. Presiding over the UNSC briefing, Global Counter-Terrorism Approach, Challenges and Way Forward, India's External Affairs Minister S. Shankar said, "There is a challenge to deal with double standards, both inside and outside the Council. For too long, some have persisted with the approach that terrorism is just another instrument or stratagem. Those invested in terrorism have used such cynicism to carry on." Notably, India's remarks was a strong reference to repeated holds and blocks on proposals by India to blacklist Pakistan-based terrorists in the UN Security Council Sanctions Committee by veto-wielding permanent member China.
On the challenge of terrorism, even as the world is coming together with a more collective response, multilateral platforms are being misused to justify and protect perpetrators.
The world has witnessed the expansion of Al-Qaeda, Daesh, Boko Haram, and several other terror groups. India has reiterated that we cannot forget the old habits and established networks are still alive, especially in South Asia. While stressing that the contemporary epicenter of terrorism remains very much, India's External Affairs Minister S. Shankar has stated that we cannot let another 9/11 of New York or 26/11 of Mumbai happen again.
Today's briefing is part of India's ongoing efforts in the Security Council to reinvigorate the counter-terrorism agenda. And that is overdue because the threat of terrorism has actually become even more serious. We have seen the expansion of Al-Qaeda, Daesh, Boko Haram, and Al-Shabaab and their affiliates. At the other end of the spectrum are lone wolf attacks inspired by online radicalization and biases. But somewhere in all of this, we cannot forget that old habits and established networks are still alive, especially in South Asia. The contemporary epicenter of terrorism remains very much active, whatever gloss may be applied to minimize unpleasant realities.
Without naming any country, External Affairs Minister S. Shankar had earlier slammed the neighboring state after Pakistan Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari unceremoniously raked up the issue of Kashmir during a UN gathering in New York to discuss the issue of multilateralism. He also treated a Pakistani journalist to some brutal reality check for trying to blame India for terrorism in South Asia. The more terrorism Pakistan perpetrates, the more victim-carded plays. Pakistan has accelerated efforts to project India as supporting the terror groups. Such articulation is aimed at seeking an alibi for failing to control terrorism despite a large number of operations. It is also aimed at convincing the Biden administration to press the pause button in the strategic relations with India. It is also to convince the Chinese that India would be responsible for any attacks on its interests.